What's up, everybody? It's your boy TruElement78 in the building with
Your one and only reigning, defending Mondo Lucha Hall of Famer, ICW Hall of Famer, WPW Hall of Famer, and your current Legacy Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, the X-Man, Xavier Mustafa.
and there's no Chris Black tonight. He is trying to rework his gimmick ever since he saw the Bussy Bomb debut on NXT. But you have me and Xavier Mustafa here with you guys tonight to do a review, as you can see, of AEW's Grand Slam 2022. Went across two nights on television, but a 4-hour night for those up there in New York. And so now we finished Dynamite, we finished Rampage, and we're here to give you guys our thoughts on all of the aftermath. I am going to be pulling up a video that's going to be playing, highlighting night one. And while that plays, we'll just go through and give you guys our thoughts on the show as a whole. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Well, actually, what do you want to do? You want to give your overall thoughts of the entire event, and then we'll break it down?
I actually didn't think it was bad.
What do you want to do? You want to give your overall
I actually was really surprised that I was into it as much as I was on Wednesday. And then I was like, oh, Friday is probably going to be meh. And it actually was pretty solid too, I think, for the most part. I mean, there was a lot of meh on the Saturday, what's today? On the Friday show, on the Rampage. But I think the pluses outweighed the minuses.
All right. Let's see. Get that going right there. All right. Yeah. So, wow. Can you hear that audio?
Nope, absolutely
not. Okay. Well, let me mute it for myself then, because I can hear it. My thoughts overall, I felt like it had a big pay-per-view feel. I actually like the look of the new set pieces that they use for the show. I'm hoping they can carry that forward. It kind of freshened things up a lot. I was feeling like the AEW set was getting very scaled. This felt very big time. It looked very big time.
They're not gonna keep it.
Or they'll break it out for pay-per-views. But
every time they change the set, they go right back to the same old.
But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I actually feel with the viewership that Rampage had been getting, I think they should have saved some things for Rampage as far as title matches. It still felt like Rampage was an afterthought show. And I want to also get into later on about how I'm going to need AEW to really step up their editing, because there's mistakes on the Rampage show, which was recorded audio that could have been fixed post. Like Excalibur calling it Tuesday Night Dynamite. I don't see anything on the schedule that says that Dynamite is going to be airing on Tuesday to go head-to-head against NXT.
I think you said it twice.
I heard it once after Hangman eliminated Buddy for Roosh from the Battle Royal. So,
you know, they took the time to add all of those edits into the matches, which I actually thought was pretty good. But they didn't take the time to listen to the audio, apparently.
Yeah, so I don't know why that video is having trouble playing, but whatever. It's just hopping around. Anyway, so do you have the matches pulled up?
I do not, but I will get them pulled up.
Yeah, we'll do the same. I do know we kicked things off night one with Jericho versus Claudio Castagnoli for the ROH World Heavyweight Championship. I gotta give Chris Jericho his props. He's got himself in tremendous shape. He's out there. It's still not prime Chris Jericho, but I'll be damned if he's not out there working his ass off.
I didn't think too much of the match. Like, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was nothing spectacular. I was surprised by the finish, but then when I actually sat down and thought about it, I'm like, you know what? That probably makes the best sense. just because you're going to get more name recognition out of Jericho. So that's going to help out if ROH does, in fact, have a TV deal or some type of future service in place. Jericho's going to, lead the way again, just like he did when AEW started.
Right. Yeah, but it also kind of leads to where everybody was kind of shitting on Jonathan Gresham when they decided to take the title off of him, and they're like, oh, they put it on Claudio because Claudio's the bigger name, so it just makes a lot more sense. And it's like, yeah, they don't think Claudio's a star either because they they turned around and put the title on Chris Jericho. So but yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. It was interesting. I never really watched a lot of ROH, but Jericho did shake hands to acknowledge the code of honor, and he won by not having any honor with a kick to the dick, basically. And the ref didn't see it, and that's going to become a theme that also plays into the Rampage show. But also in between there, you had Tony Khan send out a tweet to acknowledge the piss poor refereeing that we had on night one Grand Slam, which I don't really understand. There's going to be a couple of things I'm going to say I don't really understand why they were done, but we'll continue to get into those things as we go along. But yes, as Xavier Mustafa said, Chris Jericho defeated Claudio to become the new ROH World Champion. At the end, the entire Jericho Appreciation Society. I just got off a 14-hour shift, everybody. Jericho.
Japs. Just remember the Japs.
They everybody came out and acknowledged, for lack of a better term, Chris Jericho. But you did see Daniel Garcia was kind of torn about possibly the way that Jericho went about winning the match or recognizing the code of honor. So I don't know. We did also have some history made in the match. Aubrey Edwards became the first woman to referee an ROH World Title match. So,
yeah, was that necessary though? But okay.
I think that's one of those things. I think it's one of those things I wasn't even thinking about. Like, it's going to be a lot of firsts when you have women referees.
Like Jericho said, it was kind of a hat on a hat because it's really not an ROH ref. I mean, it is an ROH referee in the sense that Tony Khan owns it and she works for him, but it's not an ROH ref because
Right.
they do have ROH refs, they do have ROH announcers, they do have ROH commentators. So, but yeah, okay, we'll put that hat on the hat.
All right, next up was the match that I believe had the most heat out of any match on the entire show, which was for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It was the Acclaim taking on Swerve in Our Glory. I'm going to let Xavier Mustafa go ahead and give his thoughts on this first, get him tear on into it.
Okay, so I'm actually not going to talk too bad about this match because the outcome I was definitely in favor for. This was the weakest of the two matches that they've had. That match that they had at the pay-per-view was absolutely fantastic. This match was okay, but I wasn't really happy with Keith Lee's performance. I thought Swerve looked really, really good. I was so on Max Caster's performance. I thought Anthony Bowens looked real good. But at the end of the day, we all got to shout, "Scissor me, daddy ass," and the Acclaim are your new tag team champions. And I thought this was kind of weird because Bowens tweeted the first gay champion in AEW, but I noticed that he said it very singular, not plural. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. Are we not? You must be on mute because you're talking. I'm not hearing anything.
I said maybe somebody's not fully gay. Maybe they're bi.
This is still gay.
Not according to some people. Axe Tank. Anyways, yeah, this match was good. I feel like this match went maybe 5 to 7 minutes longer than it needed to. I don't know if I, obviously I do believe that they hit all their spots. I think that the famous on the outside and all of that stuff was supposed to happen, which would have happened after the spot where I thought things should have ended. But I think that I don't know what the hell Keith Lee and Swerve were trying to do. Where what was it? Swerve like threw Caster like down in like a power bomb or something, and I looked like Keith Lee tried to shoulder block him as he went to the ground, but he like completely missed it. And from that point on, it felt like the match was kind of off from that point. And then the whole Max Caster selling the leg thing, like out of nowhere, he just going for the elbow, he just falls from the top rope. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it was a weird career camera cut and everything. It was like, what happened? I'm so confused.
yeah. But overall, I think that they made the right decision. They put it on the hot tag team. We've seen so many times in other feds and everything where they wait too long to make the title change. So I think they did it perfectly here, essentially, that by doing the change here. Now, was this match better than their previous pay-per-view match at All Out? No, it was not. I think All Out was the better match, and it's very hard to top that first meeting because you can only do that first meeting once. So, but I think they put in some good work out there.
So what's next for the Acclaim?
Well, it looks like they're still trying to keep FTR away from those AEW tag belts.
I
And
mean, since they've gone with that, they might as well keep going with it. But eventually, that match has to happen. I don't know if I want to see necessarily FTR versus the Acclaim, to be honest. But I think still it'd be a good match. But I think they really should have let the Young Bucks take that L. But the Young Bucks didn't want to take that L. But that's all.
and so I don't really know where you go with the Acclaim because AEW was praised in the beginning for their tag division and putting an emphasis on tag teams. I feel like they've gotten away from that recently because if it's not the Young Bucks in the tag division, then they don't give a damn about tag division. Like Swerve and Keith was kind of just thrown together because it was like, hey, you guys are two black guys. Like, let's throw you guys together. Like, you got a perfectly good private party that you never see on television anymore.
Hey, we got to see him today, though.
Yeah, we definitely got to see him today, but
well, I'll take it. I forgot they still work there. Oh yeah, there you go.
You got the Butcher and the Blade who aren't featured either. We'll see what they do with Malachi. I mean, not Malachi, with Brody King and Buddy Matthews. We'll see what they do with the Lucha Brothers.
Not to be skipping around. What did you think of Malachi Black's the match?
It was okay. Like he has the proper intensity, but you got to work with who you got to work with out there in the ring. So I think they made the best of the situation. Not to say that like anybody was necessarily holding anybody back, but it's just gonna be a different pace match.
I just want to give a moment of silence for the death of Julia Hart.
Bruh, you saw what I sent you. Good God Almighty, she's broken in half.
So I was watching on DVR, so I was actually like 5 minutes or 10 minutes behind that, so I didn't know what you were talking about. And then when it happened, I was like, "Oh, that's what he was talking about." It's one of those things too that I'm saying, like, why was that table spot even necessary? That now that you look at it, it's like that was not necessary, and I'm pretty sure she probably got seriously hurt.
It was clearly a gimmick table because she barely touched it, and that part chipped away from her ass. Unless she just got a Nicki Minaj ass, but it don't look like it's an ass. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, oh my God. And that bump would have made more sense if Julia had put her hands on people more often than not. But she just stands in people's way. She never like really lays her hands on anybody or sprays mist in anybody's face or
She's like,
anything
"You're
like
not gonna walk past me." Oh, you're walking past me.
that.
Okay.
You shall not pass. That's her entire role. She's Gandalf the White.
By the power of Tony Khan, you shall not pass.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
So
passing me.
you said what?
I said, "Oh, you're passing me." Okay.
Man, scissor me daddy ass. All right, let's move on. Actually, we got the highlight going on up there at the top. I believe, yeah, this was after that match. You had Wheeler Yuta come out to do an interview with Tony Schiavone, and he's talking about and trying to hype up the main event, which is Bryan Danielson taking on Jon Moxley for the vacant AEW World Title. And he's interrupted by MJF, who comes out to a huge pop because they're essentially in his home state. And he goes on to verbally eviscerate Wheeler Yuta, then physically eviscerate Wheeler Yuta, as well as push over Tony Schiavone, because right now he's trying to do anything in his power to get booed. So he pretty much called Moxley a drunk. He said he told Wheeler Yuta, I guess, like Moxley can show you how to become an alcoholic. Bryan Danielson can teach you how to push yourself to you have to retire and end your career early. And then that William Regal can teach you how to pop pills, and that's when Wheeler Yuta smacked the shit, punched the shit out of MJF, and the brawl was on. Then MJF made his comeback. Like I said, he pushed over Tony Schiavone. Morrissey comes out, starts choking up Wheeler Yuta, and they leave Wheeler Yuta laying. And that was that segment, pretty much. What did you think of that segment? And do you think that cheap heat is the way to go with the situation that they find themselves in with MJF right now, where they want him to be a heel, but the fans are going to cheer him?
Okay. So first thing I want to say is Tony Schiavone, I hope he's getting hazard pay. Because every time I turn around, he's getting ran off, he's getting assaulted verbally and physically. So can we get some security for that man? 2, William Yuta. I mean, I hope something comes of this. I would like to see a program with him and MJF because I think Wheeler Yuta deserves a little push. As far as the cheap heat, I mean, we just come to learn that from MJF. That's all we're gonna get. Sometimes it's just the right amount. Sometimes it's too much. Actually, I'm gonna say a lot of times it's too much. You know, just like Christian. Christian tends to go over that line a whole lot. Not so much this week, but I don't know. That's my opinion on it.
Okay. So then we had the All Atlantic. Oh, excuse me. The All Atlantic AEW title being defended by Pac, taking on Orange Cassidy, which this was, I believe, their third meeting. And they got great chemistry in the ring. It's kind of interesting to see now that they're doing. Orange Cassidy has become a lot more involved now, as far as the gimmick isn't just him being a pacifist or not really getting the engine started quickly in matches. He comes out there now and actually wrestles, which we all knew from that first time that he did get going. Oh, this guy can actually fucking work. I don't think this was a good match between these two, though. I think this was the weakest of their two matches. I don't feel like the crowd was really even into it either, as much as they had been for their other meetings. But also think that comes down to the change in Orange Cassidy now, because now he's kind of becoming just another. He's become just another guy on the roster now, in my opinion.
I am going to disagree with you a little bit. I actually thought this was my favorite match with them too, and I think it's just because Pac, I don't want to say negated. It's not the word I'm looking for, but he kind of negated a lot of that silly stuff. So the part where he was doing the shin kicks, usually does the shin kick, shin kick, shin kick. Then he does like the super kick to the shin. And like he did that, then he went back like he was going to do the super kick, and then he gave him a good drop kick. I was like, okay, all right, I like it. I thought the comedy wasn't too over the top like they normally are in Orange Cassidy matches. And like the spot that they showed a little earlier on the video here, where Pac went to the top rope and he put his feet up in the air like super duper early and just like left them there. Like I thought that was
fantastic. Yeah, but again, like I said, I think that was his whole shtick. And I don't know. I don't really know. But did you feel like the crowd wasn't necessarily into this match as much as we have seen them in matches, Orange Cassidy matches, particularly?
Nah, they wasn't into it really.
Yeah. Pac retains his AEW Atlantic title. So
Ooh,
then
this
following,
match. Ooh.
huh?
I said, "Ooh, this match." I thought this match was a little rough. They did some cool stuff though, but overall, I thought this match was really, really rough.
All right. So next up, we had the match that you're seeing now, which was the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. You had Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Britt Baker. This I felt was one of the better women's matches that they've had in AEW, though. It was all women that know how to work. And I actually think that the crowd was pretty into it. We do have the ratings from night one, which show that this match actually grew the crowd a little bit. The numbers overall stayed flat for the entire night, which that sounds kind of negative, but that means they didn't really lose fans throughout any segment. I actually think the lowest rated segment on the show was the Jericho match. But it still was only like a 200,000 viewer drop or something like that. So it wasn't significant, and they gained those fans back, or viewers back, I should say. One thing I can say in this match, I'm not gonna crap all over Athena. I had some thoughts when she came out, but I heard Brian Alvarez say this, and I have to agree with him. Can we please stop killing Britt Baker out there? She's proven to be one of the toughest SOBs in wrestling. Like, say what you want. Like, Becky Lynch got punched in the face, and that got her over. But I feel like every time Britt Baker goes out there, either her nose is made of paper mache, or the people were just or Fabergé egg or whatever, or people just being way too reckless or rough out there in the ring, because this is gonna be her second or third broken nose. She's had a broken leg, had a broken wrist, and she hasn't quit in any of her matches. So shout out to her. What did you think?
I give them some credit. I mean, they worked hard in this match, but I just couldn't get into. I don't know what story they were trying to tell. I wasn't emotionally invested in any of these girls in this match.
Yeah, I think
Okay, they did some cool stuff, yay! But all right,
yeah, it should have just been a fatal 5-way, because I think they should have had Jamie Hayter in this match. Then it would have had more of an emotional story that they were telling. But in the end, Toni Storm retains the interim women's title, which leads to the heels Serena Deeb and Britt Baker getting in the ring and beating down on Athena and Toni Storm. Then Jamie Hayter runs down to the ring, and you think this is gonna be the turn where she turn, as you can see on the screen, that this is gonna be the turn where she turns her back on Britt Baker, but she helps her stomp a mud hole in Athena and turns to the crowd and said, "This is my friend. What did you think was gonna happen?" And then we got the biggest pop of the entire Grand Slam show, which was the debut of Saraya. or Saraya, however you want to say it, the former Paige from WWE. It is to be seen if she's going to wrestle. I did hear on Brian Alvarez's F4W show that she is not cleared, but they do believe that she will be cleared.
What's going to change? Nothing has changed in the last 4 years since you've been in the ring. What's going to change in the next week? Come on now. Listen, this is one thing I would say about AEW. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know if you noticed, but somebody comes in, you think they're going to make a save. You think they're going to turn the other way. And then they just join the person that's beating up whoever they're beating up. They did that again tonight on the part 2 of Grand Slam. Like, how many times? I'm so sick of that happening. I'm so sick of the lights going out. Jesus Christ, who's watching the lights? All right, they need to get security because apparently the wrestlers are taking over the lights and they're turning them on and off. Ridiculous. As far as Saraya, I don't care. I'm over it.
I did like that somebody said that they pretty much, if they can get Renee Young to come in, they'll pretty much have the entire WWE backstage crew that would have been in AEW at some point. If anybody remembers that show.
Yep, I remember it.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what she's going to end up doing. So next up, we had, as you can see, it was the AEW, the vacant AEW world title at stake, where it was Jon Moxley taking on Bryan Danielson. Violent match. Violent match. These two went out there and they told a great story. We saw them come to blows for the first time when they did form the BCC, because Moxley said he couldn't team with somebody that he hadn't bled with. And so I don't know, the passion came through for the title in this. The decision to put it on Moxley, I'm not so sure about. He is hot right now. He is one of the top names in AEW for them. But I kind of feel like at this point, does it feel like Bryan Danielson isn't going to win that belt, or that he doesn't want to be the top champion?
I feel like Daniel Bryan is just sitting there spinning his wheels. They don't want to pull the trigger on anything with him for some reason.
But do you think it? But you don't think that he has a say in it? That if he wants it, it's his, but he doesn't want it?
All right, but if that's the case, then I expect him to be in the ring with, the Daniel Garcias or the young guys, the Willie Uters, the things like that. Like,
he has been those.
But then he goes back to doing this and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't win anything. So it's like, now what value does he bring to the middle card roster?
And that's what I was going to say next, was that, like, I think that he views being the world champion, especially in AEW, the way that they do it. They want to have long title reigns. I don't think he wants to just go in there and just crush people for a while, because I think that might be a little bit boring for him. Because you can tell a story, but in the end, when you have these matches, people, if you're in there, if you're the world champion and you're having a match with Daniel Garcia at this point, no matter how good the story is you're telling in the ring, there's never in doubt that you're going to be winning that match. He couldn't have that same match that he had with Daniel Garcia a couple months back, where Daniel Garcia beat him if he was the world champion. And it just kind of sucks that he was put back in a world title match this quickly after him having the match with Hangman Adam Page for the world title, because Tony Khan works with fucking children.
No, not Tony Khan. Not EVPs. No, but you know what? We'll talk about that tomorrow on the podcast. How I feel about the EVPs.
Yeah, so Yeah, John Moxley, like I said, or insinuated, John Moxley submitted Bryan Danielson to win the AEW World Title, and now and they announced him as a 4-time champion, but it's really he's a 4-time world champion. People were that because they're like, well, are they counting the interim title? But no, they're counting his one WWF title reign, so he's a 4-time world champion. So that's what it is. Just like Jericho is an 8-time world champion now that he won the ROH title.
Yep, he let us know multiple
Ocho.
times.
So overall, night one, what would you give night one if you had to give it a grade?
I'll give it a B. Strong B.
A B? Yeah, I would probably give it a B too. I might give it a B minus. Just because, I don't know. It was some things where I felt like I said, I think that the Swerve in Our Glory match went a little longer than it needed to go. The women put in good work. You know what? Yeah, actually, you know what? No, I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. I'll give it the solid B, like you did. I'm not gonna nitpick too much. I think the right people won, but it was also one of those nights where it was like nothing of significance really happened on the show. Probably the only thing that was unexpected that happened on the show was Paige debuting, and nobody thought John Moxley was going to be winning the title. But I always say that just because it's predictable doesn't mean that it's bad either. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's how I always felt.
I don't know. I have my biases against Mr. John Moxley. I would rather see Daniel Bryan than MJF since we haven't seen that match.
Man, when are you gonna stop calling him Daniel Bryan?
Right, because he's been Daniel Bryan for like 20 years. All right.
I finally got out of it now. Call him Bryan Daniels. It doesn't even feel right to call him Daniel Bryan.
Listen, he was in WWE longer than he was anywhere else, and he was Daniel Bryan. So it's gonna take me a while to get out of that. But I'd rather see him versus MJF than see one more time John Moxley and MJF.
Well, I would love to see those promos because he's gonna be going all after his neck. or head injuries and stuff, talking about concussions and everything like that. Who knows? That might be the other reason. They're like, yo, we don't want all the smoke making CTE jokes about, because he's gonna go for the low-hanging fruit. Best believe that player. Oh, let's see if I can find the night 2 stuff. Because right now I'm not seeing it.
Night 2, I don't really feel there's much to really talk about. I mean,
okay. Yeah, we're gonna breeze through night 2. So we kicked things off. It was Darby Allin and Sting taking on the House of Black with Julia Hart in a no disqualification match. Like we stated earlier, Julia Hart died in this match. RIP. Darby Allin and Sting go over, defeating the House of Black, but they did have help. Mustafa, who did they have help from?
Was that really help? No, it was help. I guess the returning Great Muda, and apparently I didn't know this is last year in wrestling. He is retiring.
So you're bringing him to the Legacy Pro Battle Royal?
No, I'm pretty sure Great Muda is probably very expensive. But I knew he was gonna bring that mist out. I was just like, ooh, what color?
But this was also, I know you talked about it earlier. This was also when you said, when they're like, oh, you think they're gonna attack this person, and they turn around and attack the other person. This is what you were talking about, right?
Yeah, but they I kind of like the way they teased that, but I was like, okay, you know what's gonna happen. But it was still kind of cool because it was Buddha. It just took too long. I was like, would y'all hurry it up already? But
holy crap. Okay. Well, I guess I can get rid of this. Stop that screen. All right. So what else do we have? So Great Muda came out. Yep. Helped them win with the mist. Like we said, Julia Hart died, missed the table completely. Hook and Action Bronson took on Angelo Parker and Matt Menard from the Jericho Appreciation Society. I will let you critique the rapper turned wrestler Action Bronson. Where does he rank from what we have seen from these celebrities over the past several years?
Oh, he's definitely at the bottom. Definitely. But I'm not gonna say it in a bad way. I mean, you had what, Bad Bunny, you had Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Logan Paul. So you had some pretty like
Stiff competition.
yeah. But I think he did his thing, to be honest.
What about Shaq? Don't forget Shaq.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe he's not at the bottom, and maybe he's one up from the bottom. Shaq tried though. Shaq tried. They did him kind of bogus too, though. If you read what happened backstage. But anyway, his shoulder tackles were ridiculous, like in a good way. He was destroying people. Power slam looked good. Just took a while to set it up, but I thought the match was meh, but I thought his performance was okay. It wasn't like you weren't expecting much anyway. And I could have actually done with him rapping Hook's entrance.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was gonna rap him all the way down to the ring. I was like, ain't no way he about to be rapping this man all the way down to the ring. Actually, and you know what? I forgot to mention that from the swerving our glory and the acclaimed match that the acclaim came out with. They came out with DJ Wu Kid and the Swerving Our Glory came out with Fabulous. So if you guys are in the rap, then you know who those people are. They're all legends. It was a majorly star-studded event as far as like rappers are concerned. And we'll get into that because we're gonna have more rappers on this show. And I got questions. Why the hell? Like, was that check worth it? did that contribute anything?
I really think what they should have did is they should have put some of these matches on night 2 and some of the night 2 matches on night 1. I really think it was really unbalanced.
Yeah, that's what I said. This still felt like the B show. Like I couldn't imagine. I guess the only benefit to this being taped was that when the after the main show went off the air and they're filming this, you're sitting there, but now you don't have to sit through commercial breaks and everything like that. It could just go zing, 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 zing. So what we're seeing is 4 hours, but the people in the building were probably there for 3. Which makes it a lot more tolerable. Next up, we have the TNT champion Wardlow and the ROH World TV champion Samoa Joe taking on Tony Nese and Josh Edwards with Smart Mark Sterling out there by their side. This was a quick squash for Wardlow and Samoa Joe.
Yep, not much more to really say about that. It was just I don't want to say a waste of time. Like at least it's good to get Wardlow and Samoa Joe on TV and being dominant. So that's a good thing. But you knew what was gonna happen as soon as this match started. As soon as you saw Mark Sterling out there, you knew what was happening.
The next match, I don't know if you noticed this change, but I noticed this change. You had Jungle Boy Jack Perry taking on Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix.
That they finally started calling Jungle Boy Jack Perry, which JR had been calling him since the beginning of time. He refused to just call him Jungle Boy. And now it looks like how in WWE they were taking away people's names. They've given him another name or his name.
Yeah, so you ain't acknowledge my correction. It's not Phoenix, it's Phoenix. I thought this match was good. There was something I'm trying to think that stood out. It was glaring. Oh, it was Ray did this thing where he he did something to Jungle Boy to get him to stagger away on the outside. And then he went to the other side of the apron, ran, did a roll, then got up and ran and did whatever he wanted to do. The roll just totally killed his momentum.
just doing stuff to be doing stuff.
But I mean, if that's the worst of the match, then that's fantastic because I thought the rest of the match was pretty good. And then the ending was not the ending of the match, but the ending of their segment was.
But you didn't like Christian coming out with the sling on and setting up the distraction for Luchasaurus to attack Jungle Boy from behind, and then putting his foot on his neck, and then Christian telling him to finish him once and for all, and he delivers one power bomb and walks off.
Well, power slam, but I mean, I'm sorry, choke slam. But I mean, the choke slam didn't even look all that devastating, for one. Two, I didn't like the fact that they turned Luchasaurus heel just to put him back with him, just to turn on him again. I thought that was just unnecessary. It just kept Luchasaurus heel. But like I said, the choke slam was kind of meh, so I didn't care.
Yeah, destroy him once and for all, and you deliver one choke slam. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna need you to turn your ass back around and go back down to that ring.
Here you go. Take one of the table spots from the 14 other matches and choke slam Jungle Boy from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring through a table. See, that would have been a great placement for a table spot. But instead, you got Julia Hart almost dying from totally missing a table. You had not Malachi Black. You had what's his name? Brody King and what's his name go through a table. Then you had Powerhouse Hobbs go through a table, and to be honest, I think all of those looked weak.
Yeah.
At least the Brody King was probably the best one out of all of them. But as far as all the table spots, nah. Mm-hmm. They should have saved that for the Jungle Boy. Put Jungle Boy through a table and don't put him on TV for another 2 months. Let Christian Cage hopefully heal up in that time and then have that blow-off match.
All right. Next up, we had Sammy Guevara with Tay Conti taking on Eddie Kingston. I thought it was hilarious. I want to know when they just was like, all right, you called me a fat ass. I didn't like it, but now you have my blessing to call me a fat ass. And so Eddie Kingston comes out to the ring first. Sammy Guevara comes out second, grabs the microphone. He's like, look, man, like, I apologize. I never should have done that, but you're a fat ass, which causes Eddie Kingston to snap, start beating Sammy Guevara from pillar to post all the way around the ring. Finally getting in the ring, we get the match going. I actually enjoyed this match. It ended when Eddie Kingston put Sammy Guevara in a submission to which he could not respond to the referee anymore. So the referee called for the bell. Eddie Kingston let go of the hold, bringing out all of the security geeks, as well as damn, I don't know why I wanted to call him Terry Funk. Help me out here.
Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, Jerry Lynn. And they're all pleading with Eddie to let him go. Eddie refuses to let him go. So the referee goes over and tells the announcer to announce that the winner by disqualification or reverse decision, I guess you would call it, is Sammy Guevara, because Eddie Kingston refused to let go of the hold.
I'm glad they're actually doing that, because any other time they just end the match and then they just go into the next match. And it's like, and any other time you're supposed to reverse that decision. So I'm actually glad they did that finish. I thought the match was okay. I didn't hate it. I don't know. I just feel like I just didn't want to see this match. Like, it wasn't bad. And
Yeah.
but if it wasn't on the card, I wouldn't have been like, man, I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah. And they brought up the tweet.
Oh, sorry. His Titantron, or what do you want to call it, video package. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
Fantastic. So it's him as like an anime character beating up Daniel Bryan, Eddie Kingston, and there was a couple other people. It was great.
Who is Daniel Bryan?
Brian Danielson, Jesus Christ, same person.
Well, this ain't WWE, man. This ain't sports entertainment, yo.
It's all the same as wrestling.
No, that's sports entertainment. They had a Daniel Bryan in sports entertainment. Anyways, next up we had Jade Cargill with the baddies taking on Diamante, who came out with Trina, who she introduced on Dynamite. Who, if you don't know, Trina is a rapper from Miami known as the baddest bitch. When Jade Cargill first came out and she was calling herself the baddest bitch, I remember somebody like tweeted at Trina about somebody calling themselves the baddest bitch. So now 3 years later, or 2 years later, I guess, since Jade Cargill made her debut, we bring in Trina to basically co-sign that Jade is the baddest bitch now. It was a passing of the torch. This I hope they paid Trina with a Sprite, because she didn't do a goddamn thing to help anything, to pop a rating, to do any goddamn thing. She slapped Diamante. Diamante's finished, bro. Like, you're not gonna do anything with her. She doesn't have a title that she can go for. You don't have women's tag team titles. What is the point of even having a Diamante there?
None. No point.
And then you have her get slapped by the rapper, and completely just fucking forgotten about. I forgot Diamante was still there. I thought that she was the one that got fired, but I guess that was the other girl. So yeah, this match was a big nothing burger. Did you have any thoughts?
I think it's time to do something with Jade Cargill. The whole undisputed thing, I think it's ran its course. I think it's time for it to end. Who it ends to, that I still don't know.
The IRS.
She better be paying them taxes.
For welfare fraud, she better go take notes from Brett Favre.
Wow.
All right, next up we had the Golden Ticket Battle Royale. A bunch of geeks came out down to the ring. We had the return of Brian Cage in this battle royal. You also had the return of Lance Archer in this battle royale. You had the return of Private Party in his battle royale. The Butcher and the Blade. Pretty much a whole bunch of people made their returns in this match. And the only person of note is also the only person who actually got an entrance was Hangman Adam Page, who ended up winning the entire battle royale. So, like, yeah, like that wasn't predictable.
Yeah, actually stole my thunder. That's actually what I was going to say. If they wanted to do something different, they should have Jay Lethal win. But nah, you knew nobody else in there was winning. So next.
All right, let's see here. What do we have next? Oh, finally, we had the main event, which was the lights out match between Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Good action in this match. The one thing I can say is I wish they had given them more time.
More time? They had 20 minutes.
They had 10 minutes. What are you talking about?
That match started at like 22.
No, that match started at the match started at 47.
Because I was like, dang, they actually giving these dudes some times.
They came out at 43. The match started at 47. Because I was looking at the clock and I was like, are they gonna have an overrun? By the time they got done with the ring announcements, actually, I'm looking at the time. This match was 11 minutes and 52 seconds.
I'm happy these guys finally got the main event something. I wasn't disappointed in the match. I liked the match. I didn't like that table spot just because he went very gingerly into it. But I don't know. I don't know if I really wanted them to drag that on a little more. But I don't know. Maybe they should have ended that feud that quickly. I don't know. I don't know if you feel that should have been it, or you think that should have continued.
I think it should have been another match. I think we still might get another match. I don't think this is a done issue, because there's right now where does Ricky Starks go? I guess he could go after go after the TNT title. Actually, if I'm Ricky Starks, though, I would rather see Ricky Starks go for the Atlantic title. I want to see Ricky Starks and Pac. That's where
I don't want to see that. I will say though, I'm going to give the Xavier Mustafa stamp of approval. He don't need it though. On
he's about to
Powerhouse,
go over Big Man.
on Powerhouse Hobbs.
Putting him on Big Man.
I've been a fan of his, and I think they just been playing with him. But luckily, they haven't murdered his character like they've done Lance Archer and kind of with Miro and almost with Warlord. I mean, they're going down that direction. And Keith Lee and all those other big guys that they've totally just made doo-doo butter. So keep doing your things, Hobbs. Keep doing it.
Yeah, so they did the one spot in here that I always hate when they put the chairs back to back and powerbomb somebody on the edge of the chairs. That just looks like it sucks.
When do you see that? I've never seen that before.
Kevin Owens did that. He was doing that in a bunch of matches for a while. Yes, recently. And I've seen it on some indie shows as well. So not at Legacy Pro, but you'll see it. You'll see it soon enough. Very soon. Very, very soon. Anyways.
I'll do it to you.
Actually, it was funny. I don't know if you got my message. I said the closest thing to our match that people were going to see happened on SmackDown tonight. It was Braun Strowman taking on Otis. And I'm Braun Strowman and you're Otis.
Never.
Or you could be almost. Anyways, we're not here to talk about WWE. That is our AEW Grand Slam review. It sounds like we both picked night one as the better show to watch. Next year, I think they should spread these title matches across the two shows a lot better.
You know what? Let me add something. Match one was the better show. I think night two had the better main event.
I can't say that I necessarily agree. I'll probably put them neck and neck, but I'm gonna put John Moxley and Bryan Danielson over Ricky and Powerhouse. But that's just me. So, but yeah, overall, you gave night one a B. What do you give night two?
I'll give that one a C plus.
All right. Yeah, I give it a C. I give it a C just because I felt like it could have been booked a little bit stronger. It really wasn't any star power on there. It was more like all the people they're trying to build up. And AEW does battle royals just terribly too. Oh, one last thing I want to comment on. They brought out Paul White to do commentary for the battle royal. Talk about somebody that was overly excited to be on national television and off of Elevation or Dark or whatever show that he's on. Love Paul White. He's one of my frat brothers, but he's like, I get to sit at the big table tonight. Best line he had on commentary was I forgot who he was talking about, but he was like, I think it was Private Party. He was like, because when they went to go hug Matt Hardy or whatever, and he's like, yeah, they've done some things in their past, but everybody can always turn over a new leaf. Trust me, I've had more turns than a NASCAR race. So that was a pretty good line from him, but I can go without Paul White on commentary. His audio was clipping.
I'm trying to think. Did we get any Jim Ross on night one?
No, he was only on night two.
Okay. I thought so, but I was like,
I forgot what Taz said too. But Taz said something on night one. I wish I had wrote it down. I hate taking notes though. But he said something, and I was like, Taz will just say anything. I think it had something to do with cuckolding or something. Oh no, what was it? Oh, now I remember what he said. It was after they were talking about scissor me, daddy ass, and Tony Schiavone said something, and Taz was like, "I'm sure that you said that before." To Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone was like, "What?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Scissor me, daddy ass." And Tony Schiavone was like, "I have not said that." I thought that was hilarious, but yeah. So overall, night one we gave it a B. Night two, he gave it a C plus and a C. So I guess the overall shows a B minus. Um, Nothing. It doesn't change the status quo for AEW. Pretty much everything remained the same. You just got a new face. So we'll see what AEW does now going forward. But other than that, you want to go ahead. I got it scrolling down there at the bottom for those of you who have not noticed it yet, or you're only listening to this. You want to go ahead and let them know about the next Legacy Pro show and shout out your social medias for the people.
All right, yeah, because it's late, so I'm ready to go to bed. I got stuff to do. But anyway, I'm a busy man as the champion. Legacy Pro Wrestling will be returning to Buena Vista, located on 76 in Oklahoma, for the Black Friday Brawl. There's going to be a battle royal where the winner will get to choose to go against any champion in the company. So they're not coming after my belt because that would just be foolish. But you never know. So make sure you check that out. Tickets are available at legacyprowi.com and facebook.com/legacyprowi. You can catch me at XM Cinema on Facebook and on Twitter. Catch my solo podcast at XM Cinema on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Doing all kind of reviews over there. Andor just started. We just wrapped up the challenge. We're wrapping up Big Brother because that finale is coming up Sunday. House of Dragons, and then we got Wakanda Forever that's going to be coming up really, really soon. So yeah, subscribe to all of that. All of that.
And obviously, you're checking us out right now, probably over on Facebook. But if you're checking this out on YouTube, or if you're over on Facebook, head over to the YouTube Saturday Night Slamcasters and be sure to subscribe to our Saturday Night Slamcasters YouTube channel, as well as giving this video a thumbs up, ringing that bell so you're notified whenever new videos go up. If you're over here on Facebook or this is going viral and you're checking it out for the first time, be sure to head over to the same destination on Facebook, Saturday Night Slamcasters, and follow or like that page, and check out our Saturday Night Slamcasters Slam Board, which is pretty much a forum on Facebook where you can interact with us, interact with other fans of the show, and just wrestling fans in general, and talk about everything wrestling and things non-wrestling related. You can also find me over on Twitter at Slamcaster78. And other than that, be sure to check out our regular podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, the Saturday Night Slamcasters. We have a new episode that drops every second and fourth Saturday. So we're recording this right now on Friday. We have a new podcast episode dropping for you guys tomorrow or today if you're listening to this on Saturday. Other than that, we up out of here. Holla at your boys. Come get slammed. Peace.